Okay, we are live, and I'm here with my friend Quinn Hillyer. He's the senior commentary writer and editor for the Washington Examiner. We're going to talk about his most recent column that just came out, I believe, yesterday. Let me just take care of just a little bit of. I'm going to look at to see if this is playing right now on my Twitter feed. It should be. If not, I'm going to. Yeah, it is, and so I'm going to go and share this um, with Quinn. So, Quinn, as I do this, what's going on with you?
Well, watching the crazy world go by, Stephen, not liking much of what I see in the political world. And so, as often as I can get away with it, writing on sports and culture instead, but that's not really my job. But other than that, staying safe. I'm about to, in a couple hours, have my second COVID shot. So
Yeah,
that makes me feel pretty good. And other than that, just doing great.
yeah, I just had mine yesterday, and my arm is
Good.
doing okay. So I just posted this for you. I don't know if you'll see. If not, we'll take care of it later. So I'm looking right now. We're on Facebook. Um, just want to make sure.
Well, no, but let's go ahead and go on because
Sure. No, we're on Facebook. We're on. If anybody has a question, please go ahead and if anybody has a question, go ahead and ask the question because I'd like to hear from you. If you have a comment that you want to make, please go ahead and make the comment. So this is. Do you want to? Do you share with others? Please, those people out there, share with others. Please go ahead and comment and have any ideas, contact us. But we'd like to hear from you. Okay, so I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna start with the very, very first uh, uh, s- screenshot I have, and just bear with me. Okay, and so there it is. And this is actually a screenshot that everybody's seeing. It's talking about the Civil War, dealing with Trump and the Republicans, and specifically, it looks like there's sort of a mini war going on with Trump and some choice Republicans. What's going on? I mean, you're a Republican, you're conservative. I mean, this obviously has got to be making, it's got to be hurting you inside.
well, yeah, it's been hurting me inside ever since Trump became the man. Uh, we are a party, and even more than that, I thought a conservative movement because I was always more a conservative than a Republican. But we are supposed to be a movement and a party based on ideas, not on obeisance to one man, especially when he has done so much to actually hurt the party. Uh, what he did to basically cost the Republican Party and conservatives two Senate seats in Georgia should have made every Republican so furious with him that we don't want anything to do with him again. That's purely political, but on a basis of behavior, on a basis of ideas, on the basis uh, of what he has done to the culture, and even on the basis of policy in lots of respects, uh, we should not be embracing Trump, and we certainly should not be having all of our activity revolve around this man. All of our activity revolve around whether you're loyal to him or not, and if you're not, then we're going to try to cancel you. That's absurd. In fact, it's absurd even if you like Trump to have this sort of cult of personality thing where any word critical of Trump suddenly gets you canceled by the MAGA crowd, and even by the official party organs. That's not the Republican Party I grew up in.
Were you surprised that Cassidy got canceled, so to speak.
I wasn't surprised because I saw the Republican State Central Committee of Louisiana really beclown itself the year before when it I think it was the year before, maybe it was the month before, when it voted to censure Mitt Romney. I guess it was the year before, voted to censure Mitt Romney because he voted against Trump in the first impeachment trial. And it shows, A, they don't know what a censure is about. A censure is a group making a statement against one of its own. Now, you tell me how a senator from Utah is part of the organization of a party organization in Louisiana. It makes absolutely no sense. You can pass maybe a resolution of disapproval or something like that, but a censure is literally something that a group does to one of its own. It's also something that is very, at least was seen as a very formal, very major rebuke. And it usually has to do with something that is for an ethical violation, a legal violation, or some absolutely horrible, beyond the pale action. And I'm sorry, but a vote of conscience is not something that is deserving of censure in any way, shape, or form. That is not an ethical violation, much less a legal violation. It is not some horrible action. It is a vote, and you don't censure somebody over a vote.
Well, he did.
Well, they did, and as I say, they beclowned themselves when they did so. But having done that to Mitt Romney, who's from Utah, did it surprise me that they did it to Cassidy, who's from Louisiana, even though he's not on the State Central Committee itself? Mm-hmm. Of course, it did not surprise me, but it, again, made me very sad because that's not the party that I grew up in.
Right. You've been a Republican for how long?
My mom pushed me around in a baby carriage door to door for Barry Goldwater and Dave Treen in 1964 when I was 6 months old. So I guess you could say I've been one since birth. But actively, I mean, when I was 12 years old, it was a month before my 12th birthday, I sent $1 into to Ronald Reagan's primary campaign that year. So I've been at it a long time. If you started when I was active enough to dig up $1 and send it in, I guess you'd say I've been doing it for 45 years now.
Yeah, it's been a long time for sure. So anybody want to respond or comment, please go ahead and just jump on in. I'll put up a different image right now. And it says why Democrats may look back on the $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill with regret. I don't know if you read the article or not, but do you think that the title is correct?
I'm not sure. It's tough to predict politically how it will play. I know that it is an absolutely god-awful bill. It's a disgrace. If you've got something that's supposed to be for COVID relief, and yet massive amounts, massive percentages of the spending have nothing to do with the virus, have nothing even to do with second-degree effects of the virus, but they're just pork barrel spending. They are, sort of things that the Democrats couldn't get past anyway else, so they throw it into this bill. That is, first of all, it's bad government, but it also makes a mockery of the seriousness of the virus itself. If you're going to spend money on virus relief, by gosh, focus it on virus relief. And the Democrats haven't done that. And at some point, I think, just like what happened when they had the stimulus package in 2009, the second stimulus package, the shovel-ready jobs that weren't shovel-ready that Barack Obama pushed through, it created such a reaction. It created the Tea Party in reaction, and the Democrats got walloped in the next midterm elections. And when you do stuff like this, people get angry and they become active in politics to defeat you. And so that could happen this time to Democrats.
But let me just throw out this, play devil's advocate, and that is that they're putting money into people's pocket. They are funding teachers, funding government that has been deprived of resources over the last year. I mean, that's the argument.
Well, that's their argument, but if that's their argument, then actually do that. It's something like, of the $1.9 trillion, $450 billion is all that actually goes to anything even remotely connected to virus response or even second-degree virus response. The rest of it is just big government expansion or pork barrel spending, or stuff that actually the American people, if you voted on it, if there was a national referendum on a bunch of items, the people would reject overwhelmingly. They're putting in sort of policy things in there that they couldn't get any other way. This is a massive boondoggle, and if they want COVID relief, then focus it on COVID relief. That's what I say.
Okay. So I'm going to play a video right now, if you don't mind.
And if I could say a word about the coronavirus bill, Lawrence.
Yeah.
President Biden, because we're going to be taking it up tomorrow. President Biden said in putting together the bill, he said we want to meet you, us, the Republicans, halfway. If that's the case, he's a damn poor judge of distance.
Yeah.
He's rejected everything we've proposed. This bill's dreadful. The only way I know how to improve it is with a shredder. It's not even a coronavirus bill. Calling this a coronavirus bill is like calling Harvey Weinstein a feminist.
There you are. You agree?
I do. I've been critical of John Kennedy for the last several years, but he's right on target here. And it's exactly the same thing I've been saying. This is not a coronavirus bill. This is a fund Democratic priorities bill, including fund Democratic interest groups bill. And it is a disgrace. There is nothing in it that should make us want to pass it. Even the good stuff that's in it is not good enough to make up for all of this trash.
Okay, so I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to click on the next frame. Another news topic. Slate writer welcomes due process for Cuomo after warning Americans should be terrified of Kavanaugh. Are we talking about double standards?
Oh, we're definitely talking about double standards. And Dahlia Lithwick, that's a Slate writer, is one of the worst at it. I mean, she is notorious for cheap shots at Republicans and conservatives, for highly tendentious analysis of conservative judges and justices and conservative opinions. And here she goes again. But this is typical of the left. You've got this whole Me Too movement that started out saying, believe all women. Well, they believe all women until the women are accusing a popular Democratic politician. Then suddenly they yell for due process. Then suddenly they yell for, well, let's be fair. Let's listen to the man's defense. Let's put the accuser through the ringer to make sure that every jot and tittle of her accusation bears fruit. I mean, you go all the way back to Monica Lewinsky and the way that the left and, frankly, much of the media treated Monica Lewinsky when that scandal erupted about her affair. She was an intern with President Bill Clinton, and they treated her terribly. This was after 5 years of saying, 6 or 7 years actually, of saying that sexual harassment was a god awful thing, and then suddenly they come out. The story comes out about her, and they start talking about waving dollar bills in a trailer park, and this is what you get. They attack the woman when the woman is involved with a Democratic politician. When the woman is involved with a Republican, they say that no matter how absurd the accusation is, they say, oh, you've got to believe her because no woman would ever lie. Well, I'm sorry. Have the same standards for both or shut up.
There it is. Okay, so let me go to this slide, if you don't mind. Bear with me. Okay, so this is your column that came out March 5. Erasing Dr. Seuss and Going to Win are signs of cultural puerility. Did I say that right?
Well, to be puerile is to be juvenile, and juvenile in an embarrassing way. And I'm sick of this cancel culture. I'm sick of the wokeness. I'm especially sick of everybody running around with their little sensitivity sensors out there, ready to be insulted or affronted by everything that has anything to do with race or ethnicity or sexuality. We're better than this. We're tougher than that. If you see something that is objectionable, you make a note of it, you might say something publicly, and then you move on with your life. You don't try to get it canceled. You don't try to get it eliminated from libraries. You don't try to get eBay to stop letting it be sold. You don't tell movie distributors that they shouldn't distribute it anymore. You move on with your life. But that's not what these people are doing. And I'm sorry if you can't understand cultural context, if you can't understand that human beings forever, as part of human nature, have had a tendency, and it's a tendency that I don't like, but it is a human tendency to categorize, to put people together in groups, to look for commonalities, and to do sometimes caricatures. If you don't understand that, then I'm just going to say, get in the real world. You know what? You look at it, especially if it's background noise. If you've got a movie that is from the 1930s or 1940s, and it has things that we now consider slightly offensive stereotypes of various ethnicities, but it's sort of background noise. It's not the point of the movie. You say, you know what? That's not very good. We don't like it. Maybe you slap a warning label, and just so people that might want to rent it might know that, okay, this has some perhaps culturally insensitive things in it. But you don't say that it shouldn't be shown. You don't say that it shouldn't be carried on streaming services or something like that. No, you let the consumers decide that. Transparency is good. Let them know what's in there, and then let them decide. And especially when some of these movies we're talking about are otherwise classic. Some of these books, I looked up on the Dr. Seuss Mulberry book, Mulberry Street. which was the very first one he ever published. As the first one that he ever published, it's historic in itself because of what Dr. Seuss did for to encourage reading. But you look back, and up until about 2 or 3 years ago, you have major literary figures saying that this was a masterpiece. It was an absolute masterpiece. And now you're going to cancel it because it had some pictures of Chinese people that use caricatures like slanty eyes and pointy hats. It didn't demean them. It didn't say, look at these funny Chinamen and we're gonna, and that shows that they're stupid or that they're untrustworthy or something. It showed them, it showed them as what people thought of as Chinamen in a way that was neither good nor bad. It was just there. It was background noise. You don't cancel a whole book for that. And if you want to, you need to grow up. There's a great song by the Eagles called Get Over It. Victim of this, victim of that, get over it, get over it. And that's my advice to people running around like snowflakes, trying to take offense at every little thing that they see.
So let me ask you this question, because I've been debating this now for a few months, particularly after January 6th. And that is, to what extent does the social media cancel? Your thoughts?
Well, look, there's a difference between vigorous debate and saying something is objectionable or even detestable and having an argument on the ideas, having an argument, a respectful debate on the topic. There's a difference between that and losing your mind and viciously attacking it and attacking anybody that would dare defend the work as a whole, even if the work has some little objectionable elements, and then demanding that it be taken down, demanding that it not be sold, demanding that it not be able to be rented. Again, if you're going to do that, I say grow up. And we're tougher than that. We and adults understand that a lot of things are unintentionally offensive. And I'm not saying they're not offensive, but they're unintentionally so, and you move on. That's if you can't move on, if you're going to get stuck just obsessing about minor offenses, you've got a problem. You've got a bigger problem than the problem that is in the work of art that you are objecting to.
And what you're talking about is a work of art or something of that nature. I'm asking whether or not, say, Twitter or Facebook, should have shut down conservatives who are throwing out information that could be dangerous, or that has been perceived as dangerous by some.
Well, that's a different thing. Now,
yeah, it is.
The default position should be, if in doubt, leave it up. If in doubt, don't censor. If in doubt, especially if basically you're providing an open forum, if in doubt, trust the good sense of the people. So it should be something rare, should be something that doesn't happen often. But you do have to draw a line on something that is dangerous, that incites violence, that is a clear and obvious expression of hatred, not or of something that could be taken as threatening. I mean, if somebody is posting swastikas, that is a terroristic threat to an entire culture, an entire religion. You take that down. If somebody is saying, let's go kill every member of Congress, you take that down. that is incitement of violence.
Sure, but
But
you know,
but
yeah, go
but
ahead.
but if you start saying, well, we're going to take down something because it says that a cake baker should have the right to send somebody down the street to another cake baker because you don't want to do their message. That's not incitement of violence. That's not a direct terrorist threat. That is a debatable issue. And if you're going to take down somebody like that and say that we're doing that for the safety of the community, that's absolutely bogus. And that's why, again, the default position should be, unless you're sure, leave it up.
So in a situation where, pardon me, where say Donald Trump and others were say making statements about there being voter fraud and constantly throwing out information, whether it was verified or not, I had some real issues with that in terms of what he was doing, and I had less of a problem, much less of a problem with Twitter and Facebook shutting that down than say, um, you know, I certainly had a problem with say Twitter shutting down information about Hunter Biden when that issue broke. I thought the media was trying to, um, I guess, color the election in that sense. Not that it wasn't happening on the other side. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are that if you err on the side of free expression. You don't make yourself the arbiter of ultimate truth. Now, if there is a demonstrable series of lies that that have obvious consequences that could lead to civil unrest or something like that, and they're clearly lies, nobody can argue otherwise in good faith, eventually, yeah, maybe you take that down as not just a liar, but as a dangerous liar. But again, you err on the side of free expression. That's where I come down.
Okay. So it ties into the point I was going to make about COVID. Here's a let me see what it looks like on the screen. Bear with me. Okay, so leaders and businesses say masks are essential protection as Texas, Mississippi lift COVID-19 restrictions. Um, I saw that what Connecticut is lifting a little bit also, and there are other states, Alabama, where you are.
Yeah, well, the governor of Alabama has kept the mask mandate in place until April 9th. It is worth noting that in Texas, where they've lifted it, they still say businesses have every right to insist on masks. It's just taking away the government mandate to do it everywhere. People are too freaked out on both sides about masks. I can understand anger and frustration on closures, on forcing businesses to close, et cetera, et cetera. But asking somebody for public health reasons to wear a mask, it's not a major offense against your freedom. On the other hand, it's a bother. If you can let it be up to individual businesses, but give them support if they still want to require it, that's fine with me. To have near riots against wearing masks, against mask mandates, that's insane too. That's absolutely crazy. Again, everybody gets too hyped up on too many issues these days. People need to relax, take some chill pills, and cope. Just cope and be adults and act like like not everything is a crisis.
Well, we're going from one crisis to another, and we're going from the beginning of the show to the end. Quinn Hillyer, I really do appreciate your taking your time on this Friday morning, and we're going to be putting this up on Bayou Buzz along with some of the text transcript and video, and put it up on social media and all. So I really do thank you so much, and thank the audience for watching. I'm going to end the broadcast right now.
Well, thank you. Let me just say before you end it, thank you very much, Stephen, and thank you for all the good work you've done for years with Bayou Buzz. I've been a fan for a long time, and I think you do marvelous work, and I appreciate you having me on the show.
Well, thank you so much. Really, I do appreciate that.